most of my life, well, at least ever since I've been old enough to realize that it's fun to collect things, I have been a collector. And through my life, I've had some really interesting collections, and I still do. For example, I collect Indian artifacts, which I still am able to go out and hunt once in a while with my friend Gil. My dad and I used to collect stamps together, and I still have a small stamp collection. I collect antique bottles, again, that I've gone out and find myself. Um, Antique books, lots of different things. One collection that I had in the past, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal, and it really was my collection of Bible history artifacts. Because as a Christian, um, having pieces of my heritage and history as a Christian, I thought was pretty amazing. It doesn't make me a better Christian. It just let me become more aware of my history. And I used to be able to take this display out, and I would take it to different churches and put on displays of Christian heritage. And unfortunately, during one particularly rough point in my life, I had to sell that collection off. Well, recently I began assembling pieces again. I'll never have a collection like I did have, and that's fine. But God has brought some really interesting Bible history pieces to me, and I'll add to them as time goes on. So in this video, I'd like to show you some of those pieces that I currently have, and hope that you'll enjoy looking at them. In my dining room, I have this like little alcove, and this is where I began displaying the new pieces that I've been able to add to the collection. Now, here, this is not actually a Bible history item, so to speak. These are rubbings off from brass plates from medieval times, back in the maybe 14 and 1500s. They're becoming more rare because people are not allowed to do the rubbings anymore because they were actually wearing down the original brass pieces. So I feel fortunate to have these in my collection, and they are here because I have Bible leaves or pages from that era that I'll show you shortly. But over here then is another one. This is a single one. It's a lady in the way they would have dressed back then. And of course this is a lady too. Notice the cross motif on her outfit. And then this is a gentleman, hands folded in prayer. I got these three pieces from my friend Gil Alberg some time ago. Now down here is I'm sorry about the reflection, it's an incunnabula leaf from a Bible that was printed in 1498, I believe this one was. Incunnabula just means it's from the infancy of printing. And you'll notice there is red on this. The color was added by hand. I don't know if they couldn't print different color, but the red was added by hand. It's called illuminated. Some illuminated pages, leaves, are very elaborate. This one's not so elaborate, but it is quite fascinating to me. And it's in Latin. Now come over here is another Latin Bible leaf. This one's from 1573, and it is from Exodus, and it was printed, if I'm not mistaken, in England. Okay. Now coming over here, this is one of my favorite leaves, and this is from the Bishop's Bible, and I believe this was in the mid-1500s. I have it written on the back of the display, and it's from 2 Kings. And the thing about this is it's English, but early English, or English of this period, read and looked so much different from how we talk today that it's almost like reading another language. But really cool print. And then up here, which you can't see really well, there's an 1890 color lithograph of the Holy Family and their exodus into Egypt. These 3 pages are from 1873, I believe it is, from the Tiffany Bible. I don't know if it was related at all to the Tiffany Company, but they're beautifully illustrated Bible pages, and they're all from the Old Testament. Down here is a frame I did recently of color lithographs. The first 3 are from a book titled The Life of our Lord and Savior, Jesus. And they depict, this top one shows Jesus' agony in Gethsemane, and then the Nativity of John, and the preaching of John. And then down here on the left and right are 2 more of these small lithographs from 1890. The center one showing Jesus with Martha and the other lady's name escapes me. I can't believe that. But that one's actually from the 1940s. In this display here is from 1831 is a volume 1 of a 2-volume New Testament. I believe it's King James, and it is highly noted on each page, like a running commentary. And this first volume contained Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The second volume I don't have, and I expect the second volume would be rather difficult to find, but who knows. Over here is a Bible, and I believe it is from the 1920s, and it belonged to a Mrs. Jessie M. Hoyt of Saginaw, Michigan. Here in Saginaw, the Hoyt name is very prominent. In fact, we have the Hoyt Library here, which I believe was established by Jessie Hoyt. And a few little angels. And as I come over here, here's a shadow box I made with a vintage figure of a little boy kneeling and praying, and I built it to look as though you're looking through the window into his room. The curtains there, and a little cat next to his window. It's one of my favorite shadow boxes that I've made. And then over here, just various Bible books, the history of the Sabbath, interesting book, Bible history, figures of speech used in the Bible, which I got just today from my friend Gil, Holy Bible from ancient Eastern manuscripts. Again, I got that today from my friend Gil. Down here is another shadow box, and again, I'm sorry about the reflection, but there's an icon back there of newer vintage, but really quite pretty. An oil jug, which may have been used to fill the oil lamps back in the day, ancient Israel. And then the boy David with one of his sheep. And of course the Left Behind series, which I'm not real impressed with, but I have it, so that's cool. Here's a nativity shadow box that I built with Mary, Joseph, and one of the wise men, and a little tiny hand-carved egg out of a pink, I believe, alabaster, and it's a nativity set or scene, and inside of it are the little figures of Mary, Joseph, the baby Jesus, and 2 little animals next to him. It's really kind of cool, I thought. So that's, oh yeah, there's some more here, I forgot. This is a 3D lenticular print of Jesus knocking at the door, which I really like, from the 1840s, a woodcut print of Thomas, Doubting Thomas, inserting his hand into the wound in Jesus' side. And here we have Saul or Samuel, can't remember. sorry. And then down here, the announcement that Jesus has risen from the dead, victorious, giving us a blessed eternal hope for our own resurrection. That's kind of about it right now. The other thing is, maybe, here is a terrarium that I have set up. These two plants, my son David got me for my birthday this year. And underneath of them is a golden nativity set. And I put it in here because I felt, these plants looked like tropical trees that might have been, growing in Israel in ancient times. So I just thought they really looked good together. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed taking a look, and thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. God bless you, and have a great day.